Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Dewayne. I got a video for that Kimble, United States Army veteran and retired VA rating specialist. Did you know there are some conditions that you can claim as a veteran to the VA and will be denied because the VA does not recognize these conditions as service-connected conditions. Therefore, you will not be granted any type of compensation. As a former VA rater, I've rated several of these claims, denying them because they are not recognized by the VA. So in today's video, I am going to share some of those with you so you do not waste your time. But there are some things that you still need to understand if you go ahead and apply for service connection for these conditions. Make sure you stick around. All right, before we get into today's video, just want to remind you, we have two memberships. One is a YouTube membership, and you can click the join button underneath this video and get signed up. Secondly, we have a membership outside of YouTube, and you can find that link in the description section. It takes you to the website, and we share with you all that you get with that membership. So today's video, what are some conditions that veterans can claim that is not recognized by the Department of Veterans Affairs, which means you're not going to get compensated. So before I get into that first slide, go ahead and make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and notification button. Slide number one. Here in slide number one, we have abnormal laboratory findings. Abnormal laboratory findings, even if diagnosed, are not themselves disabilities subject to compensation for VA purposes. Such findings include, but are not limited to, include but not limited to. And here are the four. I underline the most common one: elevated cholesterol. I cannot tell you how many times I had to deny this, and actually in VBMSR, back when I rated, there was a button, you click it, and it gives you automated text, so you didn't have to do a lot of typing. Now, under the notes section, what does it say? Although an abnormal laboratory finding is not a disability subject to compensation, a claim for service connection for abnormal laboratory finding meets the criteria for a complete claim as defined under 38 CFR 3.160, subpart A, subpart 4. I'm going to talk about that in the next slide, provided that all other criteria for a complete claim have been satisfied. All right. Then it goes on to say clarification may be necessary when there is a claim for a benefit based upon laboratory findings. All right. So here's an example. Claim for service connection for blood sugar or high blood sugar may have been intended as a claim for diabetes. Development could substantiate that elevated blood sugar readings in service represented the onset, that's the nugget, the onset of diabetes, first diagnosed after service, or that diabetes may have been diagnosed in a presumptive period. Presumptive period, 1 year presumptive, 38 CFR 3.309, subpart A, diabetes is a 1 year presumptive. Ding, 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 ding. Guess what? That is a nugget. So if you did have high blood sugar in service, and I see that you have a diagnosis within that 1 year, okay, I'm going to service connected. I just need to know the residuals. Do you take daily insulin? Do you have restricted diet? Do you have regulation of activities? That's what I need to know. Are you on metformin? Okay, that is the 1 year presumptive. If not, okay, then I'm still going to give you a C&P exam because I want that medical professional to do what? Let me know if that was an early onset, that's the nugget in this paragraph, to your current diagnosis of diabetes. Man, let's keep going. Slide number 2, okay? Status of claim. So this was the 38 CFR on the previous slide. Complete claim, a submission of an application form prescribed by the secretary, whether paper or electronic, that meets the following requirements. Now, prescribed claim form, I'm gonna give you an example. VA form 21-526EZ. That is a prescribed claim form. A description of any symptoms or medical conditions on which the benefit is based must be provided to the extent the form prescribed by the secretary so requires. You still have to do a rating decision. Even though these are laboratory findings, abnormal laboratory findings, a rating decision still has to be done. But the veteran has to put it on a prescribed claim form. Let's keep going. Slide number 3. Elective procedures. Okay, now this is where it gets a little bit dicey, okay? But I'm gonna make sure I clear it up for you. Elective procedures such as vasectomy, cosmetic breast reduction, or kidney donation may not be service-connected. But keep in mind that breast surgery, that breast reduction, okay, the breast surgery. Just keep that in mind, because when I show you this next slide, you're going to be like, Dewayne, wait a minute. I thought you told me that couldn't be, okay? Now I'm about to educate you. Let's keep going. Slide number 4. Elective breast surgery. Okay, now, this is where it gets dicey, people. It's where it gets dicey. Breast surgeries that are not medically necessitated, such as reduction, mammoplasty for cosmetic purposes, and any expected residual effects thereof are not subject to service connection. Okay, here we go, people. Because I know a lot of people are going to say, a lot of female veterans are going to say, what about this, Dewayne? What about? Here it is. If it's not medically necessitated, I'm going to give you some examples, and you have this surgery, you're not getting service connected. Even if you got a painful scar from an elective surgery that is not necessitated, which painful scars are can be service connected, but not in this instance. Thereof, residual effects thereof are not subject to service connection. That's a residual of that surgery, okay? Such procedures are considered elective surgeries and therefore do not meet the provisions of a disease or injury incurred. There it is, okay? Now, important, if reduction mammoplasty is recommended to alleviate physical discomfort such as back, shoulder, or neck pain, service connection should be considered on the basis of aggravation only. Female veterans, that is the nugget. I'm gonna read it again. If the reduction mammoplasty is recommended to alleviate physical discomfort such as back, shoulder, or neck pain. I've seen female veterans submit the evidence, is documented in service, and they get service connected for this type of surgery. That's the twist. And if so established, SMCK would be payable if the resultant tissue loss meets the requirements of the statute. That's why you have to know the requirements for SMCK, because it says would be payable tissue loss if the tissue loss meets the requirements of the statute of SMCK. All right, so you have to go out and you have to look at all the requirements or the criteria for SMCK. A lot of veterans ask me, Dewayne, I want SMCM, SMCO, SMCN with a half step. There's so many SMCs out there, I don't have any of them memorized. I know where to go and find them, but I do not have them memorized. So again, that's where I challenge veterans to invest the time to get educated, so before you submit that claim, you know what you're doing. All right, I hope I didn't confuse you. If you ask me, Dewayne, well, what about this condition? What about that condition? I'm gonna tell you, it's not a bot. I'm going to tell you, I don't know. I would have to go out and do more research. I have to go out to the VA's rating schedule. Is that particular condition in there? Okay. I get a lot of questions daily. I try to go through and answer them. But in this case, I'm not going to spend the time to go through the VA's rating schedule to try and find a condition that wasn't on slide 1. You, the vet, have to do that, okay? Or you can just say, hey, I'm going to throw it out there, throw it up against the wall and see if it sticks. You can do that too, okay? But don't be surprised if they come back and say, hey, this is not a recognized service-connected condition. Now, for my female veterans, if you meet that criteria for a breast surgery, in that example, in the last slide, okay? It may not be a bad idea to take some of that information, okay, and put it in your personal statement. And even use that M21 manual reference, okay? So the breast surgery is not elective, but you're doing it because, hey, I got to relieve some back pain, shoulder pain, neck pain. Here's the nugget for you. That back, shoulder, and neck pain, go ahead and claim that secondary at the same time, as long as the evidence warranted it, and it includes a diagnosis. That's the nugget. With that being said, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and as always, share this video with your fellow veterans. Thank you.